Hello, today we are still on similarity, and we are now dealing with proportional segments with parallel lines. So we're going to go back to that, but with a new question type. So go ahead and click on this and open this up. Okay, the first thing I want you to do, this is our assignment and what we're learning about. And if you remember, we learned about parallel lines, right? Two lines that never cross. And if you want to look at an example of that, it's going to be two lines like that. And the arrows show that these two lines right here are parallel, right? Okay, so parallel lines. So DE and BC are parallel lines. Okay, again, these lines right here are parallel. This line and this line are parallel. And again, it's because that arrow tells us they're parallel, okay? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to look at this. It's called the side splitter theorem. It's where you have a triangle. And if they take it and it's split, and I'll maybe show you an example. What I want you to do first, though, is I want you to translate this. So if you go back to here, you can take this, copy it, and paste it into Google Translate. But make sure you read this, okay, because this is the concept. If any triangle is drawn parallel to DE, so let's go back to this again. If any triangle is drawn parallel, then you have proportionate sizes. Let me show you a quick example. So if we have something like, so if I have something, say, for example, where's my pen go? Oh, I need my pen. I have some, ooh, come on, there we go. So if I have something like this, for example, and let's say I make a line that's parallel, where this line here is parallel to this line here. What that means is the small triangle is proportional to the long one. What do I mean by that? So like if this is 10, for example, and the big, and this whole side is 20 from here to here, whereas this one is 10 from here to here, that means this small triangle is 1/2 of the big one. Meaning, so like for example, let's just say this one right here is 8, the small side here. What corresponds to 8? Corresponds to 8 is this whole big side. So this is going to be 20 over 10, big over small equals this, x over 8. And so you could do cross multiplication, or you could say this times 2 is that, so this times 2, this would be 16, okay? And so that means that this side here corresponds to this side, and that would be equal to this side corresponding to that side, okay? So let's look at some examples. Let's go to our assignment. So go ahead and click on the assignment and open it up in Kami. Okay, so here is the assignment: proportional segments with parallel lines, okay? And also triangles with parallel lines. So this line and this line are parallel, which means that this 8 right here corresponds to the 12. 8 is the small one, is going to be from here to here. And this, but it's not the whole triangle, as you'll notice, right? Whereas this is 12 goes from here to here, or the whole big side, okay? So that means that the 18 is the one that is going from this side over here to this side. So this part right here is going to be the same as this part right here, okay? Even though it's not part of a triangle, okay? So that means I'm going to go big over small, I think is a way to keep it straight. I like to do it. 12 over 8 is equal to the big, that's this one, 18 over the question mark. We'll make this one right here, we'll make that x. So, okay. And then we can do cross multiplication. 8 times 18 equals 12x. Divide by 12, divide by 12. And that should be, okay, so 8 times 18 divided by 12 is going to be, close, 8 times 18, enter, divided by 12, enter. That's going to be 12. So that's going to equal 12. Okay. So, so that's the answer for this one right here is going to be 12. Okay. So if you think you understand it, try number two, and then come back and I'll show you on the video if you want to pause it. Okay. Okay. So here's number 2. So what I've done is I have matched up large over here, 20, and that corresponds to the 12, right? So that would be, the large would be, well, the problem is, what's a 12? It would be the same piece as this, so that's our x, right? So that would be x over here, But then what's the large? Well, the large would be here to here, but the problem is 14 is from here to here, right? So when I have a number there, it's only from there to there. We got to get the whole thing, but that's going to be x2. That would be 14 plus x. So when you have the x showing up more than once, one of the things you can do is look at what other information you have. And this is what I mean. So let me go ahead and notice something. If this is 12, and the whole thing from here to here is 20, then what's this piece from here to here? Let me put that in purple. What is that piece from here to here then? Well, it's going to be 20 minus 12 equals 8. So I could get 8 over here. Now, how does that help me? Well, I can do the long, or I can do small part to small part. So watch this. So I'm going to go ahead and erase this. 20 and 12. I'm going to erase the whole thing. And I'm going to do the 12 and the 8 together. So this 12 is, I'm going to go like that. Oops, let me get my pen. I'm going to go 12 divided by 8, which I can do. It's a small segment. But what corresponds to the 12? Well, the 12 is going to be the same piece as this piece, kind of the top part, right? So that's going to be x. And this part right here is going to correspond over to the side on the other parallel line, which is the 14, okay? So again, remember, the parallel line here splits this up. 12 goes with this side over here. These sides go together. And then underneath that parallel line, between the two parallel lines, these go together. Even though they're not the whole thing, we can still figure out x. So you know how to do this, right? You can do 12 times 14 equals 8x divided by 8. That goes away. So 12 times 14, enter, divided by 8, enter, 21, okay? Equals 21 for x, okay? All right, so that's how you do those two kind of questions, okay? You can either do the whole, this side, the 8 corresponding to the whole side, the whole long triangle, is equal to this side, or this side corresponding to the whole side. So it's kind of like part whole when you think about it. Whereas, or you can do part to part is equal to part, okay? Which we're going to see again on the next type of question. So now, what happens if we get a question like this? Let's look at number 3. Well, it's the same thing, right? These parallel lines, split them up. So this 10 corresponds to the 8. It's in between these two parallel lines. And this question mark corresponds to the 16. So maybe this is bigger, right? And this is small. So I'm going to go big over small is equal to what? Is 16 over 8 is equal to the big one over here, x over 10. So I can do cross multiplication. I can say this is twice as big as that times 2. So times 2, x equals 20. Okay, so that's how I can do that. Now, why don't you go ahead and try number 4, and then you can come check. So number 4 is good because it's a whole one. You got 2 parts over here versus a whole here, whereas here you had part, 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 part. So you can do part over part equals part over part. You just got to make sure you find the right corresponding ones, okay? Okay, so try this and come back if you want, or otherwise I'll show you. Okay, so here we have 16. What does it refer to? Remember, you take these lines right here. If it's got a line like that, you take it, and it means from here to this line right here. So it's the whole thing, from here to here. Well, what does that correspond to? Well, it corresponds to dot, 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 all the way from here, dot, 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 to here. So basically to the whole thing, right? So that means that this 16 divided by 3 plus 5 equals 8 is equal to something. What is it equal to? Well, we can get 5 in this one. We can say, well, we can either do this part. So this is basically this whole, the bigger whole, 16, divided by the smaller whole, 8, is equal to this part. So I want to get the x in there. So this x corresponds to the 5. So I'm going to put my x And what's bigger? Well, this piece is bigger on the bigger side, so that's going to be right there. So let's see if I can get my pen to work. Let's see, come on, there we go. Come on, pen, there we go. There we go, okay. So again, I need this question mark. It's on the bigger side where the 16 is, so I'm going to put it there. And this 5 is going to go over here, okay? Because it corresponds in between the two parallel lines. So 16 times 5, right, cross multiplication equals 8 times x divided by 8. X equals, this is the 2, so it's going to be 10, okay? So x equals 10, okay? So that's how these work, okay? So go ahead and try the rest of them and make sure you enter it into Canvas to receive credit for completing the assignment.